Hey y'all, my name is Dr. Ashley Crumby, just in case I haven't met you yet, and I just wanted to go over a couple things that I think you need to know when it comes to proctoring exams. So some of you may have already proctored exams as during your role as a TA in previous courses if you've been here, or if you're brand new, this might be the first time you've ever proctored an exam. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of a training on some best practices and kind of things to keep in mind as you are performing this role for the instructors in whichever exams it is that you are involved. So the first thing that I want to stress is that you have to show up on time. When I say on time, I actually mean early. So the exams start at 7:30 for the regular exams. That's 7:30 in the morning. And if you are an SDS student who gets extra time, the exam actually starts at 6:45. So SDS students that get extra time start at 6:45, and they will be located in phaser 205. And then for students who are taking a regular exam, with the big group, they'll be in room 1000 in the Thad Cochran Research Center. So our big auditorium at 7:30 is what time their exam will start. So what does that mean for you as TAs? Well, as a proctor during your TA role, you will actually need to show up earlier than the exam by a decent amount just to make sure you can be helpful to the instructors and the faculty that are there. So if you are proctoring an SDS exam, for the students who come in early, we're asking that you show up at 6:30 a.m. before that 6:45 exam. Now, this is just a guidance. You may find that instructors want you to be there at a different time. So let's just, for the sake of simplicity, say 6:30 a.m. Is what the general time is going to be, but it may change based on the instructor. So if it is going to change, we'll make sure that you know that well ahead of time. When it comes to the regular exam that starts at 7:30 in the morning, we're actually asking those TAs to be there by 7 a.m., so half an hour early. It's more because there are more students during that time, so you kind of need to be there a little bit earlier to help out with things and make sure that things get started on time. So again, if you're going to be a TA for the regular exam, then you need to be here by 7 in the morning. If you have any issues getting here or think that you can't make it, make sure that you let one of the instructors or faculty know that you're going to be late or that you can't come. We do ask that if you have a conflict well in advance of the exam that you definitely let us know ahead of time, but if it's something that happens with your transportation or you have issues trying to get there the day of, we need to make sure that you have the contact information readily available for whoever it is that you may need to let know that you're not going to make it. Please do your best to prevent that from happening by making sure you have all your plans set up well ahead of time. But if something comes up, which we know it always does, or it always can, life happens, let us know, okay? Okay, the next thing that you need to kind of know is what you're gonna be doing. So essentially as a proctor, of course, your main job is to make sure that you're kind of watching over the students as they take the exam. Some other things that you may do is when you first get there, you might help get the students seated. So that's going to be more applicable, of course, to the big room, but helping make sure the students are seated appropriately. You know, we may be using some assigned seating. I'm not quite sure how that's going to work, but that will be something that your instructor or faculty that you're working with will be able to tell you. So helping them get seated, helping them get logged into ExamSoft and make sure that they can pull up the exam. If I remember from the days where I did ExamSoft, there was always a password that you had to have in order to open the exam. So making sure that they can do all those things and get that exam to pull up. One of the other things that you'll be helping with is on the back end, you may be helping make sure that when students go to complete their exam, they get what used to be called the green screen. I'm assuming it's probably still a green screen that pretty much says your exam's been submitted, you're good to go. You want to make sure that they have this screen and you see it before they leave that room so that it's not just kind of out there in limbo, not really being fully submitted, especially when they leave that testing room. So helping them get seated, helping them get set up, troubleshooting anything that may come up. And we're not expecting you to be tech experts when it comes to ExamSoft. So if you do come up, if a student does have an issue and you don't know how to fix it, make sure you tell an instructor or one of the faculty in the room or one of the other proctors and see if they can help you. And then making sure that they have completed that exam on the back end. The next point that I wanted to kind of bring up is where you should stand during the exam. So this is a little bit of a trick question because you're not actually supposed to stand anywhere. So we want you moving. We want you moving pretty much the whole time that you're in the exam. So there has actually been research done that has looked at different positioning of teaching, well, not teaching assistants, but proctors, and kind of how much they were able to see from where they were and if they could catch things happening. And you don't want to be in the front of the room, you don't want to be in the back of the room, you don't want to be in the middle. You want to be constantly moving up and down those aisles. You have to be really vigilant as you're performing this role as a proctor, because you want to make sure that if anything is going on, anything suspicious is happening, that you can catch it. And the best way to do that is to always be looking, always be paying attention to what people are doing, and walking all over the room so you can make sure that you can see things. In 1000, that's going to mean going up behind students. You may have them all the way back in like the auditorium seating, the stadium seating. So making sure that you're paying attention to students everywhere, so that you can catch anything, or that you can catch issues if there are issues that they have, if they raise their hand and need something, so they don't have to wait very long and waste precious time that they have for that exam. For the SDS students, it's actually all in one smaller room that's more like a conference room. So you don't necessarily need to be up and moving around. But again, you just need to be, making sure that you're paying attention, because it's going to be much easier in that smaller room with fewer students to get distracted easily. So just make sure that you're paying attention to them, and that you're paying attention to their mannerisms and if they need help with anything, that kind of thing. The other huge, this is a big thing, put your phone away. I know that's really hard sometimes for us because we're all connected to everybody else via our phones. And I don't know about you, but if I'm trying to fill any kind of silence or bored time, I pull that phone out and start scrolling Facebook or checking the internet or checking my email or whatever it may be. Just for the time that you're proctoring, I ask that you please put your phone away, have it on silent. You can have it on vibrate, but we really ask that you have it on silent. If you've got it with you in the room, put it, in your pocket or in your purse or wherever it needs to go, so that it's not a distraction. But we really ask that you don't even bring it with you into the exam room if you can avoid it. I know a lot of people use their cell phones as their watches, and that's, your clock, which is totally fine. But just make sure that if you do have it, it's not a distraction. So don't bring it if you can avoid it, but if you absolutely have to have it with you, which I understand happens, I actually need my phone with me most of the time because I have 2 small kiddos, and so I always kind of have to be available just in case something happens and I need to do something for one of them. But I try my best to keep it put away, and make it to where if I absolutely need to have it, I can have it, but it's not right there distracting me the whole time. And then the last thing is when it comes to reporting any issues, what we really ask you to do is, be watching for things. And if you notice something suspicious, don't try to engage the student on your own. So if you notice something, even if it's just a small something, you need to go to an instructor or faculty or one of the other proctors in the room who can help you out and let them know what you see. Don't make a big deal about it because we don't want to distract other students, but just kind of let them know what you see, and then they can make the decision as to whether they want to engage with the student, if they want to continue to watch for a little while and see if they notice the same thing you did, but just bring it to their attention. We don't want you having to interface with the students. We don't want to put you in that position. So we ask that you bring that information to the attention of one of the faculty in the room and let them kind of deal with it. Okay, that's all I've got. So those are the big main points. There is going to be a small quiz that I would love for you, wouldn't love for you to, you're going to have to fill out to make sure that you watch this video. And so please complete that quiz for me. I'm going to set a due date for it, so just complete it. And if you have any questions about your role as a proctor, please let me know. I'm also going to post a sign-up sheet for you so that you can sign up for exam times for proctoring. So I hope that covers everything that may come up. If you have any other questions or anything else comes up, please let me know. And thank you so much for, being TAs and for helping us proctor these exams. We can't do it all on our own, and so we really rely on you guys to help us out. So it's very much appreciated. Okay, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye.